Welcome back to Fox 43 AM Live. With over 3 million followers on TikTok and Instagram, please welcome the undisputed king of dad jokes, Fit Dad CEO Dave Ogleton. Good morning.
Morning.
It is great to have you on the show. As a father of an 8-month-old now, I need to learn more about the role of fatherhood. So it's great that you're here with me today.
Yeah, you're in the trenches right now.
I am very much in the trenches, yes. Last night was not the best night for us, but we're here, we're strong, and we're persevering. And so I want to start out, we were just chatting a little bit before we started this interview. You were just at Epic Universe in Orlando. Tell me about that experience, especially as a dad, bringing a family, there someday. What was it like?
It was, I mean, honestly, like the park, I feel like, I keep telling everybody, it's the next wave of what I think theme parks are going to be built as. Honestly, it's not so much the rides. It's going to be a lot more about the experience. But just even thinking about bringing the kids there was like almost overwhelming. Like just going to any theme park with all 6 kids is always a little bit overwhelming.
I can only imagine trying to do anything with 6 kids. How do you balance that kind of family and a business? I can barely handle one.
It can be a lot, but honestly, it's, they're still young. We have 2 teenagers, so, one is going to high school next year, one is going to be graduating next year, which is still crazy to think about. And so a lot of my work I get done, I really have to focus on getting it done while they're in school, because when they're home, it's pretty much like it's insanity. So it's not, I'm not getting a lot done when they're home. So I try to do the majority of it when they're in school. And then just everything else is just, there's no balance. You just get it done. If something pops up, go get it done.
I like that mentality. Just get it done. Okay. And you were talking about, all your work, you're doing it during the day. Your videos, hilarious. You have a lot of dad jokes. As I said, I was watching like the Epic Universe adventure you were guys on. You were bringing a lot of dad jokes to the workers there. I love the Mario Kart one. How do you not run out?
I mean, I've got a database of jokes, no pun intended. But it's either ones that I've heard in the past, or I've seen online or I've heard. So it's not so much about the joke itself. There's tons of jokes out there, and I can always think of new ones with current events. But a lot of the old dad jokes that are out there, I like to come up with new punchlines for them, or tried new punchlines for them. And that's kind of where the gold in what I do with my dad jokes is.
And talk about kind of the beginnings of all this. I understand it kind of started out with I don't want to say venting necessarily, but sharing your story as a father. What made you think I need to tell the world, just what's happening in my life?
So a lot, the same story you hear about a lot of, growing content creators now is I got started right around COVID time, and a lot of it was like that venting. It was, posting about, trying to make sure you're keeping track of your kids and what they're doing in school during COVID while we were in lockdown and quarantine. And it kind of just grew from there. And I was like, there's clearly a demand for humor when it comes to parenting, and everything it just kind of like spawned from there. I started doing the dad jokes, and then I did this one video of a joke about Will Smith, and that took off. And then I did a video again about like your kid being sick during COVID, even though like they didn't have COVID. It was like they sneezed and all of a sudden they had to go home, and that video got like 40 million views or something crazy. And I was like, okay, I clearly know I have something here. So it was very meager beginnings, and I quickly figured out that I wasn't like a TikTok dancer in the very beginning. So it kind of just grew gradually from there, and I've continued to keep doing that.
And you've grown to this kind of immense dad empire now. And do you think, have your videos, kind of the themes changed at all, or at the core is it still, dad of 6, here are my issues, let's make the best of it and let's get it done?
I mean, to a certain extent, the base is still there. It's always going to be, it's in the name, like Fit Dad CEO. But I've realized over the last couple of years that if I was going to, continue to do this, that I was going to have to create, more or show more of who I am. And like, a lot of the videos that I do now are about sports and being a millennial and millennial music. And those are all big parts of my life. So the major theme is always going to be parenting, but I've just interjected a little bit more of my personality and who I am. And a lot of it are like broader things like being a millennial that people can relate to.
Well, Dave, thank you so much for joining me this morning. It has been a pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, same, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and everyone, please follow Dave Ogleton across social media at Fit Dad CEO. Dave, thank you once again.
Thank you.